Hi, it is the second video that I'm going to put out for my progress with patellar tendonitis. This past week marks the third time that I've seen my doctor, and it has been 2 weeks since I've been doing those exercises from my first video. It's very hard for me to understand my progress because I feel like some days I don't feel it as much, and then another day I would, but I wouldn't entirely understand why that is because I don't feel like I'm doing extra strenuous activity. I only horseback ride once a week for 1 hour, but I do admit after my lessons, sometimes my legs feel a little not so great, but it's very short-lived. When I went to see him, he did the stretches and the massaging, and he said that I was less sensitive today in terms of the pressure that he was using. So I would guess that he is very well aware of how much pressure he used, and depending on my reaction, he could tell if my muscles are more sore this week and if I'm able to handle him digging deeper into my leg, because I feel like if he uses more pressure and it's not a big deal for me, then it's getting better because my muscles are not as sensitive. But it could also depend on your pain tolerance, right? Sometimes maybe it's different depending on the day. Some days I will be able to handle more pain, or I'll just be like, fuck, I'll handle this and I'll just keep it in internally. Or other days I just not feel like having to deal with it. But this week he gave me a set of new exercises, which is why I'm making this video. And he did say though that he wants me to do these exercises every other day, but also no more than 3 days a week. So these are actually not that difficult, but the balance ones are more challenging. He does say that if you have trouble balancing, he doesn't want you to overly focus on trying to balance where you're just wobbling around. If you're doing that, then you're probably putting too much focus on different parts of your body, different muscles that you most likely don't want to be focusing on. For each of these exercises, I will be doing 10 per side, if that works out well for it. So for example, if I'm doing side steps, I would go 10 to the right and then 10 to the left. If I'm doing front steps, 10 forward and then 10 back. If you do have trouble balancing, then definitely use a chair or something until you are able to do several at once without falling down. I definitely still struggle to be able to do the balancing ones 10 straight without losing my balance, but I do tend to be that type of person also where I'm like, using a chair to balance? No, I don't need that. I'm too good for that. So I haven't been using a balancing chair, but I do admit that it does make me pretty sore after I'm done with all of this, that the next day it would feel like a bad idea to do this every day. So in between the days where you're not doing the new exercises, I was doing the same exercises as last week. The first exercise is a single leg deadlift. And something that you want to focus on when doing this one is, of course, keeping your knee behind your toes. Try to keep most of your weight in your heels. Something he did mention to me is that people tend to lower their front too much. They go too deep for their top half of their body. So you want to try your best to keep everything straight, but of course it's hard to do if you don't have a reflection or you don't get to see yourself. So what I noticed, at least for myself, is that when I'm doing single leg deadlifts, you feel like you're actually keeping your top portion more upright. For me, I could definitely tell I was overly bending my body forward. So if I just really stopped focusing as much on that and just tried to keep it more upright, I feel like that worked better for me. After doing that, I don't know what this next move is called, but you stay in the single leg deadlift and then you twist and kind of open your hip to the side. And this one is actually really challenging without losing your balance. So take it slow. For moves like this, you definitely do not want to rush. Make sure you keep your core tight, because I have noticed that if I keep my core super tight, then it definitely makes the act of balancing much easier. Also, I am super overjoyed to be filming this outdoors because it was such a beautiful day today. And I kind of wished I had a better angle for these clips, because if the camera was a little higher, you guys would be able to see the ocean, the shore, the highway. There's a lot of nice views just past the fence that you weren't able to see. I actually forgot to bring my resistance band today, so the moves where I am doing side steps and I'm doing the forward steps and the back steps, those all will be using the resistance band.